All right, so let's just get started on going over some examples of section 8.4, which is called solving polynomial equations in standard form. I'm aware that many of you guys already saw the Edpuzzle video, and I hope it did help many of you guys out, but just in case you need a little more practice or just hearing me kind of go over it, that's why I'm doing this video. So let's take a look at our first example, which is using the zero product property. Basically, what all this really means is when we are solving these equations in standard form, you always want it to be equal to 0, always. When you have it equal to 0, these answers are going to be called your roots. This is one of your vocabulary questions that you guys were quizzed on. So let's just begin. So you have your first binomial, which is x minus 4. We want to solve for binomial 1 and binomial 2. So you have to take this first binomial, set it equal to 0. You guys know that the inverse operation of minus 4 is plus 4. Plus 4 here and plus 4 here. So when you do solve for x, these cancel out and you're left with your first answer, which is x equals 4. You also have to take your second binomial, also set it equal to 0. The opposite of plus 2, you guys know, is minus 2 here and minus 2 here. These cancel out. Your second answer is x equals negative 2. So in example 1, since we have one binomial, two binomial, we have to have two roots, okay? So example 2 is very similar. It's pretty redundant. So take your first binomial, x minus 5. It is equal to 0, so this is a go. Inverse of minus 5, you guys know, is plus 5, and plus 5 here as well. These cancel out, so your first root is x equals 5. Take your second binomial, also set it equal to the 0. Opposite of minus 1, plus 1 here, plus 1 there. These are gone. So your second root in example 2 is positive 1. Anytime you have a direction that says solve, please make sure you have 0 always by itself. Okay, so I know this was part 1 basically of the Edpuzzle video and of your assignment. The second part, actually I have part 2 and 3 here all together. I have something called find the greatest common monomial factor. Remember from your vocab, monomial means 1. Okay, so let's take a look at letter A. You will have to brush up on what your factors are, but let's just go over. I did write down 4 here. I know on your classwork you only have 3, I believe, but let's take a look at letter A. So you have 12x plus 42y. Okay, so from here, just looking at this, I know that x and y are not going to have a common factor. They're both different variables, so I cannot take those out. But I do have 12 and I have 42. When you're looking for the greatest factor, you need to figure out what's the highest number that goes into both of these. So just by taking a look at them, I do know that 6 goes into 12. 6 also goes into 42. Okay, so 6 times 2 is going to give me 12. I did not take out an x. so I need to leave it there, okay? Also, this is positive, so bring it down. 6 times 7 is going to give me 42. I left the y inside, so we're done. There's no other number that I can take out that will go evenly into 2 and 7. So this is your final answer. And your GCF here is 6. That's the number we took out. Okay, so let's take a look at letter B. Here, I have an X here, and I have an X here too. So I have 4 X's in here and 3. I easily can take 3 away from here and 3 X's here as well. So the first thing I'm going to take out is my X to the 3rd. Okay. I also know that 4 goes in evenly into 24. So take out your 4. 4 minus 3, I'm left with 1x, because when I distribute, there's a 1 understood here, okay? Then I have plus 24 divided by 4 is 6. I took 3 x's out, so I can't do anything else. This is my answer. And my GCF here is this, 4x to the 3rd power. Okay, letter C is a little easier. I just have an A here and an A there, so they do have this in common. My second term only has 1 A, so I can only take out 1. I'm left with A there plus 5. When I distribute, I'm going to get A squared, which I have here. And when I distribute to my second term, it's going to be 5A, which is correct. Your GCF here is this term that you took out. Oh, please don't forget to box in or circle your answer. And let's do letter D together. I have 4x squared minus 2x. Okay, so I have an x, I have an x. I have 1 here and 2 here. So they both have at least 1 x in common. I also have 4 and 2. 2 goes in evenly into 4 and to itself. So let's just take it out. So 4 divided by 2, I'm left with 2. I took 1 x away from here, so I have 1 left. And I'm left with -1. When I distribute, 2 times 1 is -2x, which is perfect. Okay, and here, my GCF now is the monomial I took out, which is 2x. Okay, so that was the second part of your classwork. I hope it wasn't too difficult, but for some it may be, especially if you haven't brushed up on your factoring lately. So the last part, which was the